in the very first year, probably jack that up to about 15, 17,000 crores from the following year. Is this a big amount? Is 12 or 15,000 crores big? Depends. If you ask the beggar on the roadside, he'd say $10 is big. What's big? What's small? Let's compare and you will know. Because if it's big or small, it's vis-a-vis something. What's the budget of one department of the government of India? The Rural Development Department, which mostly does what we say about CSR. Just one department of the government of India has an annual budget of 70,000 crores. The entire corporate sector CSR, about which so much is being said, is about 12,000 crores. Now you know what's big, what's small. Importantly, however, this so-called small amount is capable of being leveraged several times over. Because when you put monies into projects, chances are lots of other money would also flow into them. Therefore, the expectation is that this is not a fixed number. We will leverage this amount to ensure that far more monies flow into the CSR stream. So I've told you approximately how many companies, I've told you approximately how much money. Now when you go out and speak to the larger world, what often do you hear? I say, we've been doing CSR for donkey's years. What's new? Many companies, and the names are so common that I need hardly reiterate them here. Whenever I go to a conference like this, but you know, we've been doing it for years, my granddad did it, my great-grandmom did it, and we've been doing it, it's in our genes, it's in our blood, it's in our DNA, blah, 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 blah. The fact is that of these so-called 8,000 companies, less than 500 companies have actually been doing any kind of CSR at all. If you eliminate the so-called Tatas and Birlas and Mahindras and whatever else who apparently had CSR in their genes, almost 90% of companies have done not a zilch. Those who have, here's the opportunity to tell the world what you have been doing. The argument often touted around is, we've been doing it, so why is government mandating it? Government is only building an enabling atmosphere. If you've been doing it, come clean and say what you've been doing. Say it out loud. Give your company the chance to go out there and say to the world, guys, this is what we've been doing. And tell it to us in a transparent manner. Don't give us those advertorial slides that, sort of show off what you've been doing. Show it to us in a clean, clear format that's available across the nation for all countries, for all companies. That's what the Act does. It prescribes a clean, clear format. In the rules that are up on the net, you will see that the return you fill as MD of your company is exactly the same that he fills as the MD of another company. Therefore, the playing field is level. You will reveal exactly as much as he or she in another company will reveal. Fourth off, CSR is not charity. It's not philanthropy. It's not giving. It's not doing anyone a favor. Most important definition of CSR is, it's none of these things. And that the Act says clearly. Hence, writing a check, giving a gift, providing freebies all of this is not in the ambit of CSR, which doesn't mean that you can't or you should not. Please give away all the clothes you have. It's your choice. Give away all the money you have. Your choice. But it just won't be CSR. CSR is about actually doing projects, doing programs. And in the project mode, you will need to indicate start time, end time. How much money was allocated to that program? How was it monitored? How was it evaluated? What social impact did it create? And every one of those programs or projects need to be listed in the return that you file to government. And how much money you propose to spend on it is also listed. Broadly, these are the tenets of what the bill provides, the Act now provides. If you are now an MD and you are going to put a CSR system in operation, what do you need to do practically? What's the checkbox? What are the 3 or 4 things you need to do as of yesterday? The CSR clock, the CSR meter starts ticking from the 1st of April 2014. From now till then, you have preparatory time. The year 2014-15 is the year on which you will need to report. And naturally, you will report when the year is ended. So the first returns will come into the public domain from the 1st of April 2015. And that's when India and the world at large will first see what corporate India is actually doing. Let's say, theoretically, and this is possible, you decide all of this is a lot of balderdash. It's a load of crap. Government can be flushed down the drain. We don't want to do a thing about CSR. These guys have gone off their rockers. And you are free to hold that view. You might disagree. It's a democratic country. And so you might say in your return, we believe that CSR is only for donkeys or cows or whatever. We will never ever do any CSR. Remember that what you say will of course be out there in the public domain. So it's there for the activists to see, the media to see, your shareholders to see, your stakeholders to see, but it's a free country. So you can say whatever you want to. Let's say that you are even more thick-skinned, and that's wonderful. You might say, I don't want to do this rubbish, and I don't even want to report to government. What if I do not do and I do not report? A question often asked by the media. There's all this hoopla about this legislation. But you could be a conscientious objector. And you could say, flush this down the drain, man. We don't need it. What happens then? Is there a penalty? Is there a consequence? The consequence is indeed painful, very painful. Because under 134(8), it prescribes a maximum penalty of 25 lakhs and not or. Therefore, the company and its executives would fall under the long arm of the law if they were not to do and also not to report. However, if they did nothing and reported that we did nothing, they're safe, at least for now. This is broadly the total scope of what you're supposed to do. Secondly, in your checkbox, you need to quickly constitute that CSR committee. Not an easy thing to do, because if I were on the board, and it's lovely that I'm not, I wouldn't want to volunteer for the CSR committee. And why not? First off, that CSR committee would need to be on the website, not only yours, but the government Ministry of Corporate website, by name, not by designation. Therefore, you are identified as a human being with a particular DI number out there in the open space. If you are a member of that committee, and let's say as the MD of this company, you've constituted your CSR committee,